Hello, I'm David Amboys, Series Director for the CDRA Motorsports Drop Super Truck Series, and this is a track preview for the Daytona International Speedway, home to our third race of the season. What else is there to say? The Daytona International Speedway is the world center of racing. The 2.5-mile superspeedway plays host to the Daytona 500 every year, and the infield also hosts the Rolex 24 in January, marking the unofficial kickoff of the racing calendar each year. The property recently finished their $400 million Daytona Rising renovations in 2016, making it the jewel of racetracks in North America and the atmosphere akin of that of an NFL stadium. Instead of showcasing how to get around Daytona in a race, we're going to do something a bit different. I've gotten some help this week by way of Superspeedway qualifying ace Aaron Bean, who will be showcasing the best way to get around DIS for a qualifying run. Qualifying, as we've seen from the first two races this season, is sometimes half the challenge entering these races. Let's check it out. Alright, Daytona International Speedway here, qualifying run with Aaron Bean, and you're going to notice we're leaving the pits right away. And the reason why we're showing this is because this is vital to getting around Daytona International Speedway. You actually really have to focus on your immediate outlap. So as you ride the apron, you're modulating the throttle. You notice he's not full throttle, he's about half throttle, 60% throttle, and he's gaining speed, because you have 2 laps of qualifying here. So the focus will be building up your speed on the first 2 laps so that your final lap of qualifying is the one you want. So as he goes into turn number 3 here, notice he's all the way up against the wall, maybe leaving about a quarter or a half car width, truck width, to kind of build up some speed here. So comes off of turn number 4, and you're going to notice he's not going to be diving it down to the bottom whatsoever. He's going to be keeping it up top, and as he comes to the line here, he is starting his qualifying run. So now he's on his qualifying run, and he stays up top. And you're staying up top and you're not fluctuating. Goes into turn number 1, comes down a little bit, and then once this white line shows up here, he starts diving it up. You want to be above these white lines to an extent, but you don't want to give it too much, because then you'll be in the wall. Another thing to note, watch the orange stripe on his steering wheel. Very, very, very gentle, subtle movements. That is the key to qualifying. You do not want to scrub off any speed. Turn 3, he's going up here, going the exact same lane, maybe a little bit lower, because as he comes a little bit lower, now it's the money lap. Now we have to focus on the speed. Now we want to set the quickest time possible. We built up almost 2 laps of momentum, comes down to the yellow line, and now he starts his qualifying run. And you're going to notice he's going to let the truck drift up just a little bit because it's naturally wanting to do so. You don't want to ruin the momentum. Coming into turn number 1, coming back down a little bit, and now you notice not very much movement. Trying to be as still as possible on the bottom lane. Gonna let it drift up about a lane up, and now you're gonna notice he's gonna come down and cut this about half a lane. He's coming down, he's eyeballing turn 3 right now. He's looking at that line, and finally he's gonna be half a lane up because the momentum or the gravity of the banking will shove the truck down. Up on the yellow line, riding the yellow line, he's going to let it drift up a little bit in 3 and 4. Smooth. Can't stress that enough. Smooth. Going down into the tri-oval, coming to the yellow, or coming to the checker flag, and there you go. That's a qualifying run at Daytona. Don't lock them up, and hopefully you've made the show. Daytona is the first superspeedway event of the season, and drivers will see a different kind of limitation than they've had in the first 2 races. Instead of having a limited set of tires, you'll have all the tires you want. The limit will come in the fuel tanks. Drivers will only be allotted 70% of the fuel they normally have at any other racetrack. So therefore, more pit stops, more strategy heading into this one. Next week marks CDRA's first ever trip to Darlington, and the first time we've ever been a part of Court Retro Week. See you then.